dive on it.
This is twice now the Celtics have been first to the floor. They try to
Save with Horford. Unbelievable.
Boston first to the floor. So good.
Brown fakes, fires up the three. Bang! Tatum dives on the floor. Everybody dives. Jaylen Brown with the flush. Blocked by Porzingis. He's doing it all. Tatum spinning, driving, laying. Washington drives. Blocked by White. Oh, what a block from Derek White.
What is up? First to the floor, joined by Jack Simone and Sam LaFrance of How About Them Celtics. It's a draft recap show, and what a draft it was. Jack just hopped off the phone with Mike Zarin. How you doing, Jack?
I'm good. To be clear, everyone was on the phone. I'm not special. I wish that'd be cool, but it was a press conference. But I'm good. I'm tired, but I'm ready to rock. How are you doing, Jake? Thanks for having me.
I'm good. And Sam LaFrance, I think this could be moving into the 7th hour of us hanging out together in the past 2 days. So I kind of know how you're doing, but what's up?
I'll toss it back to Jack. Jack, please tell the people what time you went to bed last night.
Oh, wow.
I went to bed at 7:30 last night.
This morning, I guess would be a better way.
This morning, yeah.
9:30 Aussie time.
I got home and the Celtics had just selected Hugo Gonzalez and no one really knew what it was. And I'm like, you know what? I bet a TikTok would do really well if I stayed up all night and made a TikTok on Hugo Gonzalez, and people seem to like it. So I don't regret my decision.
Well, maybe that's a good place to start, because I think I retweeted that TikTok. Jack coming through with the goods, as he has been known to do with the TikTok game. Hugo Gonzalez, Gonzo, Hugo. We'll figure out what the
sick name, regardless.
Absolutely crushes the name test. So 19, 6'6". Now, something that one of my takeaways from the draft is that you have to add an inch to everybody, because for some reason they're now measuring everybody without shoes. So everybody now, you go to Jaylen Brown's basketball.
Let me check his
page.
combine.
There we go.
I bet I can find his. So without shoes, no shoes,
Yes.
6'6.25. So
That's my exact point, is that 6'6.25 without shoes. Jaylen Brown listed at 6'6". Is that with shoes? So I'm going to need, I think that's the guy's height I need to know in comparison to Hugo more than anybody else's. Because Jaylen is a big wing, and part of that is his size. But Hugo's frame, 6'6", 6'7", using the old measurement, 6'11" wingspan, 220 at 19 years old, is a fucking crazy frame.
Jaylen draft combine, no shoes, 6'5.25. So inch smaller than Hugo without shoes.
That's a big 19-year-old. Big 19-year-old.
Big boy.
So, okay, I'll throw it to you guys in a second here. The outrage on Celtics Twitter about the Hugo pick and the subsequent saying that Brad Stevens can't draft is some of the dumbest shit I've ever seen. The only reason people were mad is because they'd never heard of Hugo Gonzalez. And we'll get to the Rasheed Fleming stuff as well. But like 6'7", 6'11" wingspan, 220, 19, like athletic, high motor, like ticks a ton of boxes as a dart throw for a wing at the end of the draft. Makes heaps of sense. I do not understand why people would be upset with that type of archetype. 22 in Gavoni's big board, 24 on Vicini's big board. It's a pure, I don't know who this guy is, so I'm going to complain about it online.
It's literally that. It's like, hey, this guy played in a league that I don't really get over here. Poor Jack had to buy Euro League Pass last night. And then it bodied him during the recording today.
Of the time I was awake, an hour of it, at least, was trying to figure out where the hell I was going to watch the game. And I figured it out eventually after buying like 2 different things. Or I don't think I bought the first one, but like testing like 4 different sites to try to find. And then realizing I couldn't watch the games I wanted because technically they were La Liga games and not Euro League.
Oh, God.
I was not pleased.
In the trenches.
it like everybody was hoping to get a college player. Like we were on the stream yesterday, and I stormed out. I was so devastated when I saw the Hugo notification pop up on my phone. But we were all hoping for Fleming. It wasn't Fleming. He was on the board. We literally had like me, Jake, and Spoonie. Like I wrote down a bunch of dudes. I was like, all right, Fleming's there, Kalkbrenner's there, Nick Clifford's there, Penda's there, Azanua is there, Wolf is there. I'm like, Celtics are guaranteed one of these guys at 28, and it was none of them. And I was like, what the hell? And then after a nice 24-hour little hiatus here from being upset, I've gotten to calm down, take a peek into what Hugo, is that what we're calling him? Or are we doing the Spanish flair on it?
Hey, I think you can do whatever you want here until we
Jack
hear from him.
me.
There was one announcer who kept calling him Gonzalez, and it was I don't think I'm gonna do that. But there's a lot of Hugo. I don't know. I'm gonna call him.
We're going with Gonzo. We're going with Gonzo. I
works.
think is pretty sick. Yeah, as I said, the name test definitely pays off. Couple of comps, Christian Brown, Josh Hart. Have been thrown around, which I think are great comps and would be obviously two guys that were drafted later as well. And I like the archetype. The shooting is the question, but Nick NBA, I saw some of his breakdowns. Like Hugo didn't shoot the ball much, man. Like he didn't really play much, so like the percentages are going to look kind of weird. Because he's like getting out there, he's shooting up like 1-2 shots a game. Like the percentages are just like Baylor Scheinman shot 4 years at college above like 39% for his college career, and on the low volume that he shot for the Celtics, he's like 31%. Like you need a larger sample to really say he can shoot or not. I'm not saying he's like gonna come in as a good shooter, but I think using that like 29% from the most recent EuroLeague season is probably not indicative of the type of shooter that he is or can be.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in the poor guy gets to run out there for a minute and you want him to make the one shot he gets per game. That's kind of asking a lot of him. Jack did a great job of selling me on Hugo today, though. So
sell us, Jack.
Let us know. Tell the people.
Let me 1 sec. I'll sell you by reading to you what I wrote in my Hugo Gonzalez article today. Because I think it encapsulated the thought process pretty well. Let me find it right here. I wrote about the way Hugo Gonzalez plays basketball. I said he defends with the ferociousness of a stray dog fighting for scraps on the sidewalk. He cuts to the basket as if each step he takes will shatter the earth beneath his feet, and tracks rebounds with a ferocity that rivals Liam Neeson in the movie Taken. I texted Tyler Rucker, who's our draft friend, and said, I think my exact text was, "This MF never stops running." And he said basically like, yeah, his motor's relentless. Like, yeah, he doesn't stop running. I watched like 5 different like clips or like games. I didn't watch the full games, but I watched like him on the court in those games. And I don't think I saw him fail to pick up his guy at half court ever. Like not one time. Like it was either half court or full court. He was picking his guy up and they had no like breathing room. I said it in the video, like the highlight was a January game where Evan Fournier was just cooking Real Madrid. And in the third quarter, Madrid, a team with 10 former NBA players on it, which is crazy, by the way, and the reason he didn't play, decided to put the 18-year-old on Evan Fournier instead of any of those guys. So his like knack for understanding what the game needs, I think is just incredible when you pair it with his motor and his hustle and his willingness to just sprint everywhere. He's elite at cutting to the basket and filling space that way. I think his 3-point shot has more potential than people give it credit for. He's a really good ball handler and cutter and driver as well. With that in his hands, he can play make. He didn't do it at Real Madrid, and so I think when given the chance, he should be better. But I mean, I hate using the Marcus Smart comparison because I don't think he's that. But like for the same reason Celtics fans like Marcus Smart, they will enjoy watching Hugo Gonzalez.
I love that. And yeah, RJ in the chat here, go find a video of John Havlicek if you want to see more of Hugo's body type. Did Brad Stevens draft the Spanish John Havlicek? That would be nice. Go ahead.
Brad
Sam.
was just watching Celtic City after the season ended because he didn't get a chance to watch it during the season because there was too much going on, and he was just like, and he drafted Hugo.
I see this.
One other thing Jack showed me today that was pretty hilarious. Literally the first thing, Jack's like, listen to all these different attributes of Hugo. He's like, do you want to see the shooting, playmaking,
I can pull it up if you want.
defense? And it's this clip of him like immediately checking into a game. He's defending the inbounder, and as soon as the inbounder passes the ball in, he literally doesn't even let him get inbounds. He's just on his ass off the ball. I did see
this. Yeah, some of the clips that Jack were pulling, it's like some guys will pick up full court, but then there's the guys that pick up TJ McConnell picks up. He is picking up. He's probably committing violations by picking up dudes over the baseline. That's how aggressive he is in some of these clips. And if you're going to have that type of frame and have that type of athleticism, have that type of motor, have that type of feel and IQ handling, I'm going to buy into that. Now, just on the 3-point shooting stuff. So he took 31 threes in his 2 seasons with Real Madrid. So he went 9 for 31. If he makes 11 for 31, he's shooting 35% and not 29%. It's just these numbers are just so small. He shot 13 for 18 from the free throw line, 72%. If he makes 2 more free throws, he's at 83%. So obviously he's got to actually make the shots for that to matter, but the volume is just so small that you can't make declarations on his numbers. In his under 18 tournament, 16 games, he shot 60 from 75 from the free throw line. That's an 80% free throw rate. And he shot 31% from 3 on 84 attempts. So that's higher volume. Go ahead. Can you?
I don't know if I can share a screen. I can try.
I have the present option on mine.
Okay. I have the present option. Okay. So this is the EuroLeague website where I can watch my replays. I think you have to put it on the screen, but I have it.
There we go.
So Hugo Gonzalez here. I'll rewind it one more. So
number 9.
Hugo is guarding the guy at the top of the key, but then his guy is going to inbound it. So he's like, all right, I'll guard the inbounder now. Watches what happens, what he does as soon as this guy inbounds the ball. It's
so good.
Let him play. He's just
so good.
And it's not it's a low shot clock for sure, but it's not like it's 2. There's fully 7.
No one does that
on the shot clock.
Somebody does this in a pickup run. There's a fight. That's the kind of defense.
That's something Henry would do.
That was the first thing I thought of. Was when I saw that, Sam, that's the guy I pick up. It's are you serious? 6'7" TJ McConnell.
That's what I saw that on Twitter too.
Honestly, thinking about it in that respect, we're talking about if he makes 2 more threes, he's at 35%. But we're talking about the 3-point shot coming along and everything. TJ McConnell doesn't exactly have a 3-point shot, and he's 6 feet tall, and he plays the same way. Granted, he's a better ball handler, he's quicker, all those things, but he's still somehow effective in the NBA Finals. The motor can get you a long way.
Yeah, man. We're probably a little bit 3-point shooting pilled from both Missoula ball and just the way the NBA goes. Shooting is just force fed down our throats, but you can be successful inside the arc. And TJ McConnell was definitely the best example. Even Shea, right? He shot 26% from 3 in the playoffs. You can obviously do it without it. I'm loving these in the chat here. So we got 6'7" TJ McConnell. We got Hugo box out Les. We got Manu Gonzalez. It's beautiful stuff from the chat here. And I'm not sitting here saying that gun to my head, is Hugo Gonzalez going to be a good NBA player? I'm probably going to just bet no, because 28th picks and on don't become NBA players typically. That's just statistically how it works. But I like the profile. I understand the vision from Brad Stevens here. And I think that's all you can really ask for. And so this spurred a litany of people claiming that Brad Stevens doesn't know how to draft now. despite this being the earliest he's picked so far. Oh, Hugo Gonzalez. I can't believe I missed that one. Thank you, Howard. The earliest draft pick that he's made is 28th overall, and he's yet to play a second in the NBA, and apparently Brad can't draft. Baylor Scheinman, I'm not ready to claim is good or bad yet, really. Like, he has not played enough yet. And then the other picks are J.D. Davidson and Jordan Walsh. Is Jordan Walsh potentially a miss? I'd probably lean miss, but this did lead me to look at Danny Ainge draft picks, who we can all agree has been a very good drafter. But this is from picks 28 and on in his tenure. Starting with 2020, pick 47, Yam Madar, Carson Edwards at 33, Tremont Waters 51, Shemi Ojale 37, kind of a hit. He was useful there for a little while. Kadeem Allen, Jabari Bird, Demetrius Jackson, Ben Bentel, Abdel Nader, most famous for missing 4 free throws in a row against the Pelicans, RJ Hunter at 28, Jordan Mickey at 33, Marcus Thornton, Chris Joseph, Etwan Moore, nice pick, Luke Harangody, Lester Hudson, J.R. Giddens, Semi Erden, Gabe Pruitt, Ryan Gomes had a nice career, Orion Green, Justin Reed, and Braden Hunter. Like, not one, like, Ryan Gomes, does he have the best career of those guys?
Shout out to him.
If that's the bar. And then
You know
I'll
what I'm
tell you
saying?
what
Like,
you need to know.
Yeah. So the reality of picking at this spot is that it's really hard to find guys. And hopefully this is a guy that is a guy. It's just hard to hit in this range of the draft here. Gun to your head, Jack, Hugo Gonzalez, NBA player, not NBA player?
I think NBA player. I'm not saying he's going to be like Josh Hart or Christian Brown, but if you have that hustle and that, so I'm always like, I to this day believe athleticism is the most overrated thing, but when you have like the knowledge and the willingness to sort of like go that extra mile and like cut, like Brad Stevens said last night at his press conference, like sacrificial cuts, like cut off the ball, you'll never get an assist for it, but you'll create an open shot for your teammate, or pick up half court every time you're in the game to put a little pressure and take. I mean, we saw it in the Magic series. Those guys picked up full court and it really hurt the Celtics offense for the entire like time they were playing. And so I think when you have guys who are willing to sort of go that extra mile, on top of the fact that, I mean, I saw it in the chat earlier, I saw it somewhere, like this guy's been in the Real Madrid system for like a decade. Like almost a decade at this point. Like you have someone who is very clearly talented, who is capable of handling the ball and doing more than he did last season, but willing to take on the other role. Like I just think you have the mindset to be an NBA player. And in my opinion, 70-80% of the time, being an NBA player and not being an NBA player comes down to, are you willing to adapt? Because all of these guys are extremely talented. It's just, are you willing to not be, I guess, what Ace Bailey has kind of started to be. Like you get the point.
Took it right out of my mouth. I was going to say just being willing to do what they ask you to do, especially on like a team like the Celtics, considering like maybe not next year, maybe next year like there's more opportunity for error and like Hugo can get out there and get his feet wet, and there's not really a ton of expectations in terms of what the team needs to accomplish and how much they can afford to have him out there learning on the fly. But like the ultimate goal is not for him to be the guy next to Jason Tatum and Jalen. The goal is for him to be somebody they probably can bring off the bench or start in spots, and he's just able to put his fingerprints on the game in his own unique way. And he has a skill set that really points to him being able to do that. And to Jack's point about him being with Real Madrid for so long, he's been playing basketball on probably the second highest level for a really long time. And the fact that he's been a part of that and he's been part of the team and been part of the training regimen and had to deal with coming off the bench behind a lot of guys who have already earned their stripes in the NBA, I think that will take him a long way in the adapting to the NBA part of all of this.
Exactly. Yeah, man. I think you got the frame, you got the size, you got the requisite athleticism, and all the intangible stuff that matters. Go back to TJ McConnell. He said playing hard is a skill, and this guy clearly has that. It's like we don't need him to be our Jalen Williams. If we're going to use the finals as an example, it's like, can he turn into Isaiah Joe, Aaron Wiggins, Ben Shepherd, these guys that are giving you like 10 minutes off the bench in the finals? That's like the fucking dream. Who knows if it happens? We will see.
Also,
Go ahead.
just to go back quickly about like all the second round picks, I tweeted this. Brad signed Sam Hauser as a UDFA. Like, that counts. That
does
100% counts. So people got to give him a little bit more credit.
Yeah, yes, absolutely counts. And Jordan Walsh, we're not writing you off just yet, brother. Use this as fuel. Does feel like Hugo is kind of like Jordan Walsh 2.0 potentially.
They only brought him in to actually motivate Jordan Walsh.
Maybe. Enough with the katanas and Twitch streaming, brother. Get in the gym.
Get off 2K, will you?
Start boxing out. All right. Now comes the trade back Rasheer Fleming Kalkbrenner debacle. Fleming was everybody's favorite. He was my favorite. And again, I'm not going to pretend to know anything about the draft. Spoonie liked him. Sam liked him. Shooting with size, 6'9", shot it really well in his last college season. And the Celtics take Hugo at 28, picking at 32. And so one pick is happening before the Celtics pick, Fleming on the board. And then the Suns trade up. And it gets reported that they're taking Fleming. And then it's reported right before the draft that the Celtics were planning on taking Fleming if he was there, which leads to the Celtics trading back to pick 46 and picking up 3 extra seconds. So 32 for 4 seconds, 46, 57 in today's draft, and 2 future seconds. 2026 most favorable between Detroit, Milwaukee, and Orlando, and the 2027 most favorable between Boston and Orlando. Value-wise, good trade. Once Fleming happened, everybody assumed it was going to be Kalkbrenner. Then the trade back happens, and I think the Celtics might be in the top 3 to 4 most angry fan bases after the NBA draft based on the Hugo pick and the not drafting Kalkbrenner Jack. Your thoughts?
So I don't actually like Kalkbrenner that much. I think I'm in the minority.
Let's go.
But I liked Fleming a lot. But I said this on our reaction when we did the video on Amari Williams. It felt like outside of Williams, which was like the report that they kind of wanted him, was they didn't think Kalkbrenner or Reyno were that much better than Amari Williams to pass up on 4 second-round picks. Like, I said this then, you don't pass up on 4 second-round picks. Like, you just said the draft history of all the guys there, like, as cool as Kalkbrenner is, as cool as Reyno is, you don't know. Like, you never know. Anything can happen. And so if you have the chance to add 4 second-round picks, including 2 shots later in this year's draft and 2 future seconds, which you can use as trade fodder, you can use as, more darts, whatever you want to call it, you take that. Like, you just do. It's just objectively the good value move. And for what it's worth, like, Amari Williams, elite passer, right? I was obsessed with Danny Wolf, so this is like my replacement. Like, I'll get like a good passing big man here. Massive body, right? Like, freakish wingspan, 7'6", I think. Crazy interior presence. If they can teach him to play the Luke Kornet style of defense, I think this is going to be a very fun thing, at least to track during summer league. And then Max Shulga is just a hooper. Like, they just drafted like the LA Fitness, really good at everything guy, which if you can do that and shoot 38% from 3, that's pretty good at his size. Like, that's a pretty good thing to have. So I think they just took a couple darts. Mike Zarin mentioned that he thinks they'll probably both be on 2-way contracts. Also mentioned that Hugo Gonzalez, they expect to be in Boston next week. They still are unsure about summer league, but he'll at least be around. I like it. I think it's good. I think you got guys that are very Celtics coded in terms of 23 years old, can probably give you a little bit something right away. Like, they just know how to play. There is no, we took an upside with Hans and Niang, or we took only really good at shooting. Like, they took guys who could do a little bit of everything and seemed like they could be ready to do that for the Celtics, whether it be in Maine for a year and then in the league or just in general. Like, I think both of these guys have the potential to do Baylor Shireman-esque things in terms of they don't really play, but then you see sparks of like, they could actually be an NBA player.
In my 1 hour of being aware of Max Shulga's existence, I will say that I have grown very fond of him, because the whole book, the whole bid, the whole bio on Max Shulga is he is going to be a great 3-and-D fit. And to be honest with you, if you're thinking about the Celtics and what they need and who can fit next to the Jays and who can be around long term, a player like Max Shulga makes a lot of sense. And it's funny because when we were on the playback doing the draft coverage, Jake was talking about, man, look at all these Thunder guys that are like role players. They're all getting drafted in the 50s or undrafted. And it's like Aaron Wiggins, Isaiah Joe, Caruso, who wasn't actually, he ended up with the Thunder and then bounced around, but whatever. And Dort, like all of those guys, honestly, they have some of what Shulga brings to the table in them. Particularly Caruso, maybe a little bit of Dort, even though I wouldn't say Shulga's jacked like Dort. There is a lot that he can give to a winning team if he just kind of gets a good feel for it in the NBA, is able to hang. The athleticism is a little bit of a question, but like nobody's asking him to go out there and do 360 dunks. Just stay in front of your man. And by all accounts, he's been able to do that in college. He was the Conference Player of the Year in the A10. Shout out to URI. Wasn't a great year for them, but I'm excited about that. And Amari Williams, I think I've come around on him a little bit since hearing that he was compared to Nimi. I'm excited to see what they've got there.
I don't really understand that comp at all from like the highlights that I've seen, like the open court dribbling and passing ability type stuff. Don't really understand that at all. But no, Sam, you got to fill us in on your emotional state here because Fleming was your guy. Kalkbrenner you were all about. And it just really went to shit in the span of like half an hour, even really before the draft even started.
Before the thing started, I was all excited today. I was like, gonna get to hang out with my friend Jake, and we're gonna watch the Celtics pick our friend Bashir Fleming. And then that rat fuck Shams takes his fucking phone out and is like, hey everybody, the Phoenix Suns are gonna trade and they're gonna take Rasheer Fleming. And then he comes and he stomps on our chest like he's Draymond Green to Sabonis. And he says, hey, they were going to pick Rasheer Fleming if he was not picked at 31, and now they're trading back. Now, I'll say this is where the emotions, they get better, because then they get all the draft picks back. They get 4 second-round picks. And the depletion of Boston's second-round pick cabinet over the last, 2 years has gotten pretty significant. Like, Brad used to be Thanos with all the second-round picks, and now he isn't quite Thanos anymore, but he's back to being Thanos. He's got all those picks. And by all accounts, the guys they picked tonight have potential to be good role players, which is what I would beg them to do. As far as Kalkbrenner goes, Kalkbrenner is cool. I think he has a high floor. But the reason why I was so in on him was because I was terrified of, and I still am kind of afraid, of Kornet and Horford not being on the team next year. And if you needed someone to immediately be ready to give you real NBA minutes, he might be able to do it because he has similar skill sets to Kornet where he can protect the rim. He's a really good finisher inside where he shot like 70-something%, 72 point something in the restricted area, just like Kornet does. All right.
Yeah. Ben Vallis, George's Niang chat. Slander in the chat.
Stop being fucking mean to George's Niang. He's from Massachusetts, damn it. He grabbed Jalen's knee once,
and he's fine.
And
he's not bad. And he's not a bad player. I don't get it.
Okay, quick aside on George's Niang. I think we may as well. Thank you, Ben Vallis. I cannot believe how much Celtics fans hate George's Niang. I don't think he's not okay.
All the dumb fake nameless, faceless burner accounts are like, get this fat fuck off my team. Get this
bomb off our Mac in the Discord has been like losing his mind the second that Niang
gone
was
to
moved.
war a couple times.
If he's your 8th or 9th dude, he's good. He's a elite shooter and can kind of a little bit of scoring off the bounce. Like he's 60% true shooting for his career.
He has played 15 to 20 minutes for very good playoff teams and shooting 40% from 3 for 6 years in a row. And people are just like, nah,
his
fuck
whole career.
This guy. I'm like, what are you guys talking about? He is a very solid role player. And he is also, I said this to Sam, you hate when you play against him, but you love when he's on your team. That is George's Niang. And so I think Celtics fans got to come around.
Okay, so Z-Gamer in the chat here, Niang is on his 5th team in 6 years. Let's play the same game for Caruso, right? He's on his 3rd team in 3 years. There's plenty of good players that end up moving around. Drew Holiday is on his 3rd team in 3 years. These guys, that's just the nature of the NBA.
Robert Horry was on a billion teams and he won all the championships because he was a good role player. Niang has more wins than just about everybody in this decade. What are we talking about?
He actually leads the NBA in wins is it the 2020s? No, since
I think it's the decade itself.
Yeah,
like
the last 10
2020s.
years. Last
No,
10 years.
just
The 2020s?
Yeah.
Yeah, true, because when he was playing for those Utah teams. So the Utah Jazz teams, the Philly teams, and the Cavs teams, and then obviously the Hawks here. Now, I don't think he's like great. If you're a fifth man or a sixth man, you're probably in trouble. But to think this guy that makes $8.5 million that's been a contributor to all of these winning teams is a fucking bum is kind of insane to me. Like, I understand that he grabbed Jalen's knee kind of once in that series and everyone got mad about that, which I was mad about that at the time. But, like, I've been stunned and blown away by how much everybody hates Georges Niang. And I, think that he's just he's better than replacement level as a wing in the NBA. And then on top of that, he's a good contract to have that you can either aggregate or move. So that's the Niang thing. There's it's hilarious. He's copping the amount of hate that's kind of reserved for players that are actually playing a lot and more polarizing, which is
he inherited the Porzingis hate.
Yeah, that's probably what happened. It's
part of the deal, part of the trade. The knee grab wasn't even the most aggravating thing from that day. The thing that I remain the most mad about from that, you want to guess, Jack? The Game 7 against Philly in 2023?
The one with Tatum? I don't remember.
Yes.
I have a terrible memory. I'm sorry.
That's okay. It was Woj before the game fucking gagging on Doc Rivers, who complained about the officiating. Woj was like, the Celtics have had significantly more. He did a basic tweet saying refs favoring Celtics. That Woj tweeted that before the game.
Oh man, absurd. So to Ben Balance is clearly in the I hate Georges Niang camp. Not sure he fits with the supposed new pace and ball movement directive. Counterpoint. He played 51 games for the Cleveland Cavaliers, and they lost 3 games. And they were one of the higher ball movement pace. They had the best offense in the NBA. The concept that he can't fit into a good team, I just don't get it. Again, not an elite player by any means, but just very solid role player, in my opinion, and all of our opinions up here right now. So. And aside to that as well, right? Okay, we'll rewind a little bit here. So, the Amari Williams, as far as I'm concerned, Brad just drafted the UK Jokic. 6'11", 7'6" wingspan.
He actually has an accent too, which is so fun.
The worst part
he has it.
He's losing it a little bit because he's been in the US.
We gotta do something
he does.
about that. They need to hire some British people to just kind of walk around him so he doesn't lose it.
The tough part about that is there was 3 Aussies on the board, and we ended up with a guy from the UK, which is rough. That's probably the worst thing about Amari Williams is from the UK. Tough scenes. But best passing big man in the draft, 3 times defensive player of the year at Drexel. At that spot, if they believe that he's just as good of a prospect as those other guys, then that's what they should do. They should trust their evaluations. I like getting extra draft picks and still getting a big man there. But that point, as far as why everybody wanted Kalkbrenner, was because we're really worried about losing Kornet and really worried about our big man rotation, which I understand because Bobby Marks tweeted a graphic that had our starting lineup and it included Xavier Tillman or Neemias Queta. And Jack Simone, I know if there's anybody left with their Xavier Tillman stock, the power on Xavier Tillman Island
is gone. It's been gone. It's been gone. It's been so gone. I dropped
the island was washed away in a hurricane. It was very tragic. We got Jack out of there.
I got to the port of the island. I swapped it out for Baylor, and I sailed away before the tsunami took it.
Hurricane Kornet took over the island and washed that thing away. So I understand the concerns, though, because there's a reality that you can kind of see that if the front court or the big man rotation is Tillman and Queta, then obviously. I don't know how many wins it would swing if Kornet and Horford are on the team versus off the team. It might legitimately be a 15-win swing.
A lot.
if those two are on or both of them are off
the
team.
My thing is, I don't get all the people panicking of I get the concern, but all the people panicking these idiots, these morons, they didn't draft like one of those bigs. It is like 2 days into the offseason.
I know.
If you don't think that they understand that they can't play Kada and Tillman as their primary big man options, you are saying like I know basketball more than the Celtics. Like, come on, like let's be a little serious. Like they're going to figure it out. This either means they're confident they can retain Kornet and or Horford, or they have free agency to bring in bigs. And it's not like an incredible class, but they're absolutely stopgap guys that they can bring in to try to figure it out. Like, I mean, shit, man, they were overseas looking at Nigel Hayes, supposedly, right? So that's the thing. Like, they're very clearly considering options. I have a running tally of like overseas, like, I don't want to say like Daniel Tice type guys, but like that idea of like, oh, let's bring a guy in from overseas who maybe
you just find Hall of Famers. You know?
Well, I'm saying like let me find the list, but like, instead of like thinking of free agency from the normal perspective, since the Celtics don't have a lot of money, like it could be smart for them this season to start taking the shots on like the Dennis Smith Jr.'s, the Dante Exums of the world, who like were in the league, very clearly pretty good players, and then they were out the league, but could they be back in the league again? Like, could you find something with them? The names I have are like Sterling Brown has been elite in the EuroLeague for the past few seasons. Nigel Hayes was on here, obviously, like Jack White, who I think was playing in the NBL this past season, like Will Magnay.
Jack
like,
White.
I have like
I
a running
fucking
list
love
of
Jack
guys.
White.
I have like a running list of guys who I'm like, they could like Donta Hall, right? Like how they were looking at Chinanu Onuaku a couple seasons ago. Like those types of guys I feel like could be more significant for the Celtics this summer.
There's like, we forget that Luke Kornet was basically out of the league. Like there's obviously ways you can kind of churn that spot. So that's one thing. They drafted Amari Williams. Going back to Niang, you can end the 4 second rounders. One, I actually think Niang would have value around the league as a rotational wing. So, and there's a bunch of teams that can purely just take Niang into a traded player exception. You get back another second rounder. Again, that Brad can trade out of probably. But like, you simply trade Niang into a traded player exception while getting back a second round pick, and you have enough room to re-sign Kornet and Horford all of a sudden. It's like that simple. That could be the thing that they're thinking of. Or is it an Anthony Simons for Daniel Gafford trade? Is it like there's so many things still?
If it is that bad that nobody wants Niang, take one of the 2 extra second round picks you just got. Like there's a way. There's 100% a way.
I'm pretty sure like the world where no one wants Niang is not this one. I'm sure some team would want him on the team.
The Hawks just traded for you don't like 41% career, like prove, as we said, played on teams that have won 50 plus games pretty much every year of his career, and when he's playing 15 to 20 minutes, like imagine if we signed that, we just drafted that guy. Like every team in the NBA wish they just drafted a guy like that today or yesterday. So I think there's still a bunch of avenues to either keeping Kornet and Al or trading for big man X, Y, and Z.
It is funny that he has this many wins in the 2020s and has yet to play in the conference finals.
It's hard when the Celtics are in there every year. Only, and he hasn't played for them yet. And the one year he might
Utah,
play for
Philly,
them.
Cleveland, tough.
The Utah bubble choke really fucked him.
Yeah, Utah. Donovan Mitchell and Joel Embiid, they can't get out of the second round. That's just
was Niang on the 21 Jazz team that played. Oh no, they did. They lost the Clippers in the semis. That's right.
Correct.
It was Clippers Suns Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, Niang was on the team where Ingles and Niang were bullying Paul George. That was it in Oklahoma City.
And Royce O'Neal, the trio.
Royce O'Neal, the good times. So I wouldn't freak out about the big man thing yet. There's still so many avenues to getting them, whether it's trade or free agency or whatever. But Max Shulga, I don't know. I think we'll do a deeper dive on like specifically those guys. But yeah, 6'5", shot the ball really well and defended in college. And it's like, can he be like budget Dante DiVincenzo? I think is the comp I heard from you, Sam, in the playback. So like, we'll do a deeper dive. I see Nick NBA in the chat here. I mean, might have to get Nick on to talk.
He had
Amari
a banger
Williams with
entrance
us.
message, by the way. Cracked me up, saying he got a couple ads. We better be making that money.
Yeah, dude. He's hopefully going into the 2026 Vegas fund. Every cent, every dollar. All right. I should probably do a quick ad read, and then we'll do just a quick 5-10 minutes on Brad Stevens.
Nick's gonna do another ad. He's gonna listen to another ad. He
Sorry,
just
guys.
got
No,
here.
no. But the prize, we all love Prize Picks. Prize Picks time, baby. Don't forget, it's time to run your game as I pull up the ad read here. So, NBA Finals are over. NBA Draft is over. We've been kind of locking in on the WNBA. Caitlin Clark, more assists, more on points. Whatever you do, don't tail Jack and Sam LaFrance, or maybe just fade them and go the other direction. I think they were 4-40 maybe in their Prize Picks parlays this past season, but Caitlin Clark actually low-key has not been doing well for us on Prize Picks lately, so maybe we should be going under on the assists and points, or going less on assists and points. But download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Download the app today, use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. Jack Simone's been present with Brad Stevens, got off the phone with Mike Zarin just before. Maybe the biggest takeaway from the whole draft, and Mike Zarin was asked about this, Jaylen Brown and Derek White are still on the team. And I would say that makes, I would want to say 70% of Celtics fans happy and 30% of Celtics fans unhappy. I'm in the camp that it's a good thing to keep your finals MVP guys that are in their primes, really, really good players, proven championship level players. And Brad Stevens and Zarin essentially said, yeah, we were never really trading those guys, Sam.
It was a great day. Great tweet to see pop up on the timeline when we got the quotes from Zarin about that. I mean, those trade proposals were mostly ridiculous. The only ones that were any good were the ones that Jack and I were making in the trade machine that weren't going to exist, where the Celtics were getting 5 first-round picks for each of those guys. And I mean, even some of the ones with Charlotte and stuff, where you would get the 4th pick and then a couple other future firsts. I just don't think this was the time to do it. It's not like Jason Tatum is never going to play basketball again. You need to have people for him when he comes back. Can you imagine Jason Tatum's in the boot doing the tricep pull downs like we saw the picture of today, and he's notified that Jalen's actually not on the team anymore. He's like, what the hell? You still have to. You can't do that to him. He's your. I mean, Jalen is just as much of a foundational piece as he is too. You have to treat your stars right, and I think that would be bad by Jalen and also bad by Tatum. You would be really screwing over both of the Jays by making that kind of move. And Derek is obviously super tight with Jason, so that would also, and not to mention the basketball upside to having Derek White on the team, but just would all around be bad business in the Tatum camp by trading either of those players.
Surprised, Jack, that Jaylen Brown and Derek White are still on the team?
Not surprised. I don't doubt that there was discussions, not I mean, Zarin said they weren't close. What else is he gonna say? Yeah, we almost traded. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't gonna say anything else. But I do think it was probably a little overblown, and I think a lot of it was the Celtics don't really let stuff leak to the media, and so all of the information was every team in the league saying, "Yeah, we're asking, we want them because they're good players." And I mean, I said at the start of this whole off-season endeavor of the trade rumors and stuff, exactly what Sam said. Tatum didn't die. He's coming back, and so you don't really trade the best 2 pieces or Peyton Pritchard. But at the same time, you have to have an understanding, as Mike Zarin so aptly said, we're very opportunistic about opportunities that come our way, which is an insane quote. But you have to at least be willing to listen, because if the Thunder call, I wrote this in an article, if the Thunder called and say, hey, we want Tatum, we'll give you Shea and Jalen Williams, you're
sure,
I guess, but you never know when that is going to come your way. So you have to at least keep the phone on. And then when the Raptors offer you the 9th pick and that's it for Derek White, you can laugh and hang up. So I get why there were rumors and why everything went around, but it makes sense that they kept him. And I'm glad that they did.
Yeah. Do we think it's safe? Now that they haven't happened,
not
is
safe, never safe.
When do we have to wait until before I get to post the Jaylen Brown still my favorite basketball team tweet?
Probably
opening night,
Shams notification, or
2026 opening night, 2027 opening night.
that big Greek guy in Milwaukee doesn't want to leave. He's
Okay.
refusing to be traded.
All right. Okay. It's just he's still on my hero possible team for now. Other things that Brad mentioned, flexibility. He mentioned he's like that's his favorite word now, and we've talked about that. The level of flexibility they have now, like aggregate salaries, different sized contracts, etc., etc. That's obviously we kind of knew that was coming. Their priorities are to bring Al and Luke back. Not a surprise. I think something that I really liked him saying was the focus on the Celtics offense and the pace and how the Thunder and the Pacers played a certain way that I think that led to them deserving of being in the finals and deserving of winning the championship in OKC's case. And I think that's something that all Celtics fans have really been saying is like, can we just inject like 10 to 15% of Pacers into this team? They're never going to be the Pacers, but can you just get a little more zip? And some of these, like Anthony Simons, like really does tick that box. Having a guy that can really penetrate, get off the dribble, get downhill. Like Derek White doesn't quite have that burst to like do that. So he ticks that box, but to have more of a philosophy on playing a little bit faster, Jack, I think would really serve the Celtics well.
Yeah. I mean, like Simons alone is going to help you with that. Drafting a guy like Max Shulga is like, okay, we want to dive into the offense a little bit more. So I definitely think you've seen the signs of them being willing to do so. And with Tatum out, you almost kind of have to add a little bit more offense and pace because that's going to be your best chance of scoring. Not that Jalen's like not capable, but you lose 27, 28 points a game and 7 assists a game. It's going to be pretty significant. So I think it makes sense. I think the nature of the second apron moves they were sort of forced to make with Drew and Kristaps also was just going to inherently hurt your defense anyways because you lose 2 really good defensive players. And so you want to lean in somewhere, you lean into the offense. And I mean, the Pacers just showed that they can do it successfully. So as long as you have guys competent on the defensive end, then I think it'll be all right.
Somebody, I think it was in the Discord today, was talking about this topic, like Celtics injecting Pacers into them. And they brought up Jaylen Brown said it back in December. The Celtics had the back-to-back at the Garden against Indy, and he was like, yeah, they play like an awesome style of basketball. So I'm sure Jaylen would not be opposed to trying to be a little bit more of a running team. I mean, Jack and I kind of kicked this around on the pod not long ago. Jaylen, good transition player. He's somebody that likes to push the pace. He's somebody that likes to get buckets in transition. So if you're going to have a Jaylen-centric Celtics team, it's not the worst idea to try and run on teams. And it would be a really fun product to watch at the very least, right? Like we all liked watching the Pacers. It was awesome. How fun was it when they would give up a basket, you blink, and then there's a guy laying it in for them on the other end of the floor. I don't know if they can do that fast of play style, but it would be sick.
Yeah, again, that's why I said like 10 to 15% of the Pacers because I don't want to go too far the other direction where I'm like, they need to overhaul their system and philosophies. Like this team just won the title, won 64 games, won 61 games, and I think they lost more to do with health than they did to do with play style. But that doesn't mean that they can't improve their play style. And then they won 57 games the year before, made the conference finals, and then made the finals the year before that. So like obviously they're doing something right, but obviously you can always get better. And Tatum, I think, has been maybe pinned as like the guy who plays the slowest and. I think that's 2 things. 1, he likes to maybe play slow, but 2, I think that's just been Joe's seal hunting philosophy, isolation, matchup hunting, and Tatum's always struck me as a very coachable guy. And if the team's philosophy was to play faster, I have no doubt that he would play faster.
Also, Daniel asked the question, like, what do you think of shutting down Al Horford? I've said this to Sam like incessantly, and now that like the trades of Drew and KP are finalized and stuff, and you got Anthony Simons, if this is the roster and they re-sign Kornet and Al Horford, the Celtics are a top 6 seed in the Eastern Conference. There's no doubt in my mind. Like tanking, I just don't like. Not only are they going to be good enough to make the playoffs and avoid the play-in, in my opinion, in this East, you cannot tank. Like it is impossible to tank because you are too good. You have too many good guys. Like unless you go full Philly for the whole year, I just think they're going to be too good to tank.
No, you would need Jaylen to get injured as well because that was what happened to Philly. Is it Embiid and Paul George and McCain got injured?
The way you presented that, it sounded like that's like part of the plan.
Knock on wood.
Like,
knock on wood.
Just need him to get injured first. I think they're putting together a team that is going to be a fun team. Like, not what you want to be called if you have championship aspirations, but if you're in a gap year, being called a fun team is not the worst thing. Simons is certainly part of that equation, so it depends on whether or not he sticks around and survives the summer. But I think Niang will be a guy that people like. He's going to be an irritant. People will get behind him. I think Simons will give us some highlights to watch. Jaylen Brown might get to take a step up. Derek White might get to take a step up. Peyton Pritchard could take a step up. You'll have 3 rookies to maybe watch in the rotation. You can prey on a Shireman jump too. There's a lot of fun storylines with the Celtics team, and they do have the top-end talent to compete with some of the more mediocre to like low-tier good East teams.
I think I've really felt the pain of the Tatum injury over the past couple of days, more so because like this team, as you said, I think is going to be fun without Tatum, but like this team with Tatum, I think would have been like they probably favored against every team in a series if it's on opening night. If Kornet and Horford come home with the Halliburton injury, maybe the Cavs are favored, but it's like, man, Kornet, Tatum, Jalen, Derek, Pritchard starting lineup with Simons and Horford and Baylor and Hauser coming off the bench. Like, they're not going to win 61 games again, but that team's going to win 55 games at least and be a top 2, top 3 seed and probably push for the finals again just because the East is not good. So I've been like, oh my God, man, it would have been fun to just see this team not be quite as perfect, but just be a little more fun and young and just go for it. But alas, he will not be there at least for a long time. Brad Stevens did say he's actually progressed great. I don't really know what that means as far as a timeline. There's going to be no timeline. Whatever. I'm happy for Tatum that he's doing some tricep extensions with the boot on. I'm sure he's doing everything he possibly can that he's allowed to every day. And I'm not ruling out him coming back in February, March. But yeah, I think I'm with you, Jack. This team is the East is not good enough. Assuming health from Jalen and Derek and Horford and Kornet come back, like it's hard to see them like just not being like winning 45 to like 48 games or something like that.
Now, if the 2 big men leave in free agency, maybe we start sitting here thinking about our nice Brockton son AJ.
I still think they get in the play-in.
Even with Cater and Tillman as your Amari Williams.
Listen, I stand on this.
I don't know.
They're not going to go into next season with Amari Williams, Demish Cater, and Xavier Tillman. Even if Al Horford retires and Luke Kornet signs for $30 million with the Nets, they're going to find someone who is capable of giving them quality 7 minutes. Like they just will. Like there will be a. Didn't this team make the playoffs with Tristan Thompson as its starting center one year? Like
it was the 7th seed. Yes.
What are we doing? Like
you're right. But Jason Tatum played that year.
Jason Tatum played that year, yes, but they also have Derek White now. They also have Peyton Pritchard now. They also have a growth of Jaylen Brown now. They also have Anthony Simons now if he's on the roster. Like they also have Sam Hauser. Like there's just so much else that will go into it that I just think they'll be all right. Like they're gonna find a way. They're not going into the season with that as their center core. They're going to find a guy capable of giving them stopgap minutes at the center position, and then they'll be fine. If they can turn Luke Kornet into what he is, they can find somebody who can play.
Are you ready if needed?
I don't think I'm the answer, man. We lost our game tonight, so I don't think I'm ready.
Oh no, come on.
True, you're on the Noah Dalzell family team.
Right? I am. We lost tonight. Unfortunate.
Tough. Things to improve on for next week. Rebounding.
We lost our ball handler early to an injury, so we didn't really have
tough.
one. So we had like nobody who was going to handle the ball, and so we just kind of lost that offensive what's the word, organization really early. And then we didn't press up enough on this one guy, and he made like 7 threes. So like, what are you gonna do? It's just what it is.
It was what's his name, Max.
And I
Max
couldn't
Shulga.
shoot. I shot like 0 for 5 from 3. I could not shoot the ball tonight.
Hey, sometimes shooting variance happens. There's nothing you can do about that, right, Sam?
What are you gonna do? Shots didn't go in today. There's absolutely nothing possibly that Jack's team could have done to help them win that game. Thinking about drafting AJ.
I'm not the primary, Eric. That's Noah's dad hit like 6-7 threes tonight.
Oh, he can. He can hoop. I can imagine. Sam, you have got some AJ thoughts?
If they draft AJ,
Yep.
who gets to be Big Justice?
Oh God. This is not a source material that I'm particularly comfortable with.
I know you hate
and
the
I hate the
TikTok
cookie,
family.
the goddamn Costco family. It's a sign of our falling civilization.
Shireman.
Shireman's Big Justice brings the boom. All right, I'm in.
You know he'd do it too, and you know
He
he
would
knows
do
what
it.
it is.
How many
For
big
sure.
booms from Shireman?
He'd give you
boy.
5.
All right, I think that's a good a place.
I've
to end.
ruined the evening.
I really appreciate Sam LaFrance and Jack Simone coming on here, fellas. I know you guys have been pumping it out over the past couple of days as well. What's going on How About Them Celtics?
Videos, a lot of stuff. Sorry, I was like not focused. Videos every day, 5 a.m. New video on Hugo Gonzalez out tomorrow. Breaking news videos here when stuff happens. We didn't do one for Shulga because there was too much going on at the moment, but I'm sure we'll talk about him plenty in future days or upcoming days. But yeah, literally 5 a.m. a video every single day, always.
Yeah. Sam, it's been a pleasure hanging out with you the past couple of days. This is to be the longest I haven't done some sort of 3-hour stream with you in.
I know.
Till Summer League, I guess. So yeah, next. Well, you guys know where to find us, etc. Brad Stevens, what are you going to deliver me for my birthday, July 1st?
Oh,
There's been some nice presents over the years. What will it be this season? Because that's what we're 4 or 5 days away from the opening of free agency. Now that's next, and we'll have some deeper dives probably on Amari Williams and the big Shulga over the next few days, but really appreciate Jack and Sam lending me some time and us some time at 2:15 p.m. Australian time, and what I'm guessing is midnight in the US of A now. So we really appreciate it. Till next time, go Celtics.